And we are live. Welcome to the MLB Strategy Show. It is Tuesday, October 10th. I am Josh Engleman, and I am here to break down Twins, Astros, and Rangers, Orioles, coming off of a terrible DFS day, but a great day for the Atlanta Braves. Big-time comeback. Helped me out a ton personally. From a DFS standpoint, though, whoa, baby, did yesterday not go the way that I wanted it to. Big stand on Max Fried, a little bit less of Zach Wheeler. Didn't go the way that I wanted it to. Big stand on Miller, not much Zach Gallen. Didn't go the way that I wanted it to. So I got pitching 100% wrong. Nothing you can do. You know, there's only 4 options. Yesterday was not ideal. Fried was not great. Miller was worse. It was just bad across the board. But what are you going to do? That's playoff baseball for you. We got 2 games now for today that we will be breaking down. Should be a good time. I don't have my exposures. You will see exposures in here at least. I don't have mine currently. I did not run anything yet other than my top pitchers, top stack sims. Having a little bit of issues with my stuff this morning. So for now, I don't actually have any exposures. So there's that. But that's okay. We got plenty to talk about. I am playing the slate. 50K up top for MLB today. I don't know why at all. But I'm not mad about it. I feel like they accidentally did it, but it's cool with me. That's a nice payout for today. I can't be mad about it in any way. But we do need to break down this slate a little bit. Got to take a shot every time he says this coffee. So this coffee is almost empty. That's NBA is coming though. Oh, man, I would give anything if they made it 100 tomorrow. I would give anything. I thought we were going to end up getting a home run from Will Smith last night, which would have been really funny from a DraftKings perspective because we would have had 3 of the main catchers, 80% of the ownership all going yard. If that would have happened, it would have just made those guys super unimportant. And yet that didn't happen. Dodgers are trash. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I can get this sim run, but there's something about it that I can't figure out why it won't run. I don't know what it is. All my data looks good. I don't think that I have anybody on the wrong team or anything. That's usually my issue. But I feel like I got everybody mapped correctly. I'm looking through it now. Not that you guys know what you're looking at, but I don't know. I'll have to figure it out later. For now, though, we can quickly break down this slate. First and foremost, to the 64 of you that are here, hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Shout out to Owner's Box, presenting sponsor of this show. We'll definitely touch on Owner's Box in a little bit. But first, let us move on. Let us get into the first game for today. 407 lock. Twins and Astros. Sonny Gray going for Minnesota. Christian Javier going for Houston. 4.3 run implied total for Minnesota. They are slight favorites in this one. We'll start on the Sonny Gray side. He is 51% owned. He's 9K. That's the most expensive. We have a very different pitching slate. Sonny Gray at 9K. Eovaldi at 8,800. Christian Javier at 7,300. And then Dean Kramer at 6,900. So I think the best thing that we can do to start is look at Sonny Gray, top of the salary tier. I have him slightly projected more than Eovaldi. I think that these guys should basically be the same ownership. And for right now, the way that I'm looking at it, I have Sonny Gray's real ownership at about 55%. We have him 58 to be top 2 pitcher. I have it at 62. Call it 60. Split the difference. So somewhere in that 50 to 60 range seems reasonable for Sonny Gray. I don't see anything that I'm trying to get away from as I first look at it. It seems like a good spot. He's projected to go deep enough into the game that you're interested. Now, we have to think about the fact that one is a terrible strikeout matchup against Houston. This is a team that does not K much. Sonny Gray doesn't really strike guys out in a big way. He's better than average, but 22.5% K rate to lefties on the season, 25.5 to righties. So we're talking like, 23.5, 24, somewhere in that neighborhood. Above average, but nothing crazy. Against a team that really doesn't do it. Brantley, Tucker, Bregman, Altuve all project 16% or lower against a righty. So in that sense, it's not ideal. But you would expect Sonny Gray in a normal start to go 5 innings and be eligible for a win. And I think that's important for what we see today. And he doesn't get bombed. On the season, 102 x ISO to lefties, 138 to righties. There's not honestly, that looks a lot like Max Fried from yesterday, and we all know where that got us. But as I look at Sonny Gray, do I see a giant strikeout upside? No. If this were a big slate in the regular season, would I like Sonny Gray today? No, not at all. But we only have 4 options, and 2 of them are harder to talk about. So as I see it, I'm going to get to Sonny Gray somewhere in that 50% range. All makes sense to me. The issue here is Christian Javier. And I don't really know how to work my way through the thoughts of Christian Javier for today. 7,300. It's a great strikeout matchup against Minnesota. These guys strike out a ton. Julien in the leadoff spot, 29% K rate to righties per steamer. That looks good. But here's the big one, and I'm pulling it up on DraftKings Sportsbook right now to take a look at the props. Because Christian Javier is not expected to go very deep in this game. Sonny Gray has an outs prop of 14.5, juice to the over, minus 135. So I'm expecting 5 innings. Christian Javier's outs prop is 12.5. Basically 2.5 less outs than Sonny Gray. I've got Christian Javier in for just north of 4 innings. But Christian Javier has a strikeout prop of 4.5 juice to the over. Sonny Gray is at 3.5 juice to the over. So in one less inning, we're expecting like a full extra strikeout from Javier. That's where this starts to get really interesting. Now, Christian Javier is the chalk pitcher today. 56% owned. I have his true ownership at 61. So I see nothing wrong with the ownership to Javier. We have him 50% top 2 pitcher, 54. I have it at 54, call it 52, but you're getting the value at 7,300. Very nice price tag. Now, Javier comes with his own problems. 180 x ISO to lefties. That's not great. We know that. 18.5% K rate to lefties. Now, it looks like we're going to get Julien, Polanco, Kepler, Kirilloff, Wallner. There's going to be a couple lefties, but 28.5% K rate to righties. Problem there, 252 x ISO. This is as boom bust as it gets, because if the ball stays in the yard for Javier, he's probably going to mow down some of these guys. Royce Lewis, Ryan Jeffers, Michael Taylor. I mean, Christian Javier is going to strike those guys out a lot. Whether or not the ball leaves the yard is going to be everything. But if you can just rack up a couple strikeouts at 7,300 and get him out of there in the 4th inning before the damage happens, maybe. So I actually think that Christian Javier is a bit more interesting as a pitching option than Sonny Gray. I understand why he's slightly more owned, but let's be clear here. Gray, Eovaldi, Javier, 51, 53, 56. That's all the same ownership. It's Dean Kramer that's not owned like those guys, and then everybody else is the same. But I like the idea of getting to Javier. I think the Twins offense is the worst offense of the 4 teams today. It's a great strikeout matchup. You're just hoping the ball stays in the yard. I like getting to Christian Javier here. That makes a lot of sense to me because of his strikeout potential. But know that the floor looks like a negative number if somebody goes yard off of him, because they are not looking to keep him out there all that long. Now, if we look at bats, both pitchers are about 50% owned, so there's no like additional leverage we can get here. I don't think anybody's going to disagree that the Astros are the more talented team than Minnesota. I think that's just the only way that you could look at it. The only reason the Twins are favored is because Sonny Gray pitches for Minnesota. But if you're looking at the Houston side, I have them fourth in top stack, fourth in value. We have them fourth in top stack, fourth in value. They are fourth in ownership at 21%. Stack score right around that 18 to 19 mark. I don't expect to have a lot of Houston. I don't see it as like a giant leverage spot. If you're going to go to Houston, you're probably going to end up being a little bit lighter on Sonny Gray. That opens up more Christian Javier. But as I see it, I'm a little bit more interested in the Minnesota side just because of the blow-up potential for Javier. We have them third in top stack, second in value. I have it the same way. They're second in ownership at 26%. That's only 5% more than Houston. We're not talking about a team that's all that different ownership-wise. But I think Minnesota, because of their value, actually grades out a little bit better. So the way that I see this game, my expectation as I look at it now is that I'll end up with more Minnesota, but I'll also still have a stand on Javier. I kind of want both sides of it because I don't see a middle ground for this one. It's either the Twins get to Javier and it starts off because he just gives up so much power. If the Twins get to Javier, you're looking great and then you're getting into the bullpen. But if Javier pitches well, like he's gonna pitch well with strikeouts is my expectation. So I like the extremes of this game. I actually see the hardest thing to get to is the Astros because I don't really know what you're unlocking. Like Altuve is gonna look great and Bregman's gonna look great because you're checking off second and third. But after that, like clearly Alvarez and Tucker, power that transcends. But it's not like Sonny Gray gives up a ton of power. This is a tricky game. If I'm ranking this one, I'm going Twins offense, Javier, Sonny Gray, Astros offense. Very fun game, though. Very fun game. I'm just trying to see, I think Alex Kirilloff looks really good if he is in at 3,100 playing first against Javier. If we have him projected for 19% ownership, I like that a lot. I like that way more. We have Alex Kirilloff, $3,100 first baseman, 19% owned. We have Jose Abreu, $300 more expensive, same ownership. I don't even think this is close. I think Kirilloff is significantly better as a play today than Abreu, and they're the same ownership. So if you can get to Kirilloff, that's the spot that I'm looking at based on the ownership right now that I think is a little bit more interesting on Minnesota. Also, I think Julien in the leadoff spot at 3,700 for second is under-owned at 24%. You're seeing Polanco pick up a little bit more love because he has that MPE, but I think Julien is under-owned. While it's going to be a fun game. I hope we get the Rangers and Orioles lineups before that one starts, but I doubt we do. Wow, 134 people here. You guys still show up even when there's when we don't have football. You guys are still around for this. I like it. Thanks for being here, everybody. Make sure you're hitting that like button. I wish I had more Sims to talk about for today. Let's see. What else should we touch on? We should break down Owner's Box quickly. Presenting sponsor of this show. If you're interested in our NFL Sims package, this to me is the easiest way for you to get it. Click the link in the description of the video. Head on over and sign up at Owner's Box. You got to deposit a minimum of $10. I think you should try to get upwards of 500 because that's what they'll match. You put in 250, they're going to match with 250. So try to get in as much money as you can. Anytime you can take the free money, you should do it. But you got to put in at least 10. You will get our NFL Sims Max package for free for a week. That will cover you for Thursday night football. That's going to cover you for the showdown slate on Thursday. Main slate Sunday. That's DraftKings. That's FanDuel. That's Owner's Box. You could use this whole tool for Owner's Box. You got it for Sunday night football, Monday night football. You're going to hit a lot of different kinds of slates. If you want to see what we've got going on now, this is our new package. We're running simulations. So we can generate 10,000 lineups like that. Immediate. It's just basically immediate. You can simulate all those lineups against each other. You get ROI for each individual player, stacks, lineups, everything you could want from a raw data perspective. This is the next step up in tier for tools on the NFL side, and then it's coming for NBA. We have it for MLB. It's all going to be sims moving forward. I think you guys should check it out now if you want to. $10 at a minimum at Owner's Box will unlock this deal for you. So click that link in the description. All righty. Let's keep this bad boy moving. We got to go to Rangers and Orioles. Rangers apparently getting really into Creed. Kind of bums me out. I like Creed. I don't want to cheer for the Rangers here. 4.8 run implied total for Texas. 4.3 for the Orioles. Nathan Eovaldi is going for Texas. Dean Kramer, the representative for the Baltimore Orioles. Now, Eovaldi is expected to go the standard issue 5 innings. He's supposed to be out there like a starter. $8,800 for Eovaldi. $200 cheaper than Sonny Gray. Oh, you guys, hold on a second. Yeah, you guys have been talking, but my chat hasn't been updating. So thanks for talking there, chat. I'm going to move it on over here. Oh, we got. Okay, so Chris, thanks for the gifting those memberships. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Because I haven't, for some reason, my chat stopped updating like barely into this. So now that I refreshed it, we're good. Let's see. Yeah, we're good here. All right, so now that I got my chat back up, I can keep this one moving. So Eovaldi, 8,800. Honest, I think he looks basically the same as Sonny Gray. I don't have too much to add here. It's certainly a better matchup for Eovaldi against Baltimore than it is for Sonny Gray against Houston. Slightly more strikeouts, just less talent in general. I don't have much to add here for Eovaldi. He's 53% owned. We have him 53% to be a top 2 pitcher, 57 coming out of my model, call it 55. I don't have anything else really to add here. He should be 50-something% owned. Dean Kramer's a little bit different, and this is where we get into a really interesting mechanism that I don't know what it's going to look like yet for me. He's projected for 40% ownership. Now, that is a full 10% less than all of those other guys. He's the guy you don't get to. He's 6,900. I don't have him projected all that well. I have his true ownership around 33%. Now, we have him 39% to be a top 2 pitcher. I have it at 26. So even if we want to split the difference, call it 32-ish, I think 40% ownership feels a tad high. But at the same time, you only have 4 real choices. So as I look at it, I don't expect to get to much Dean Kramer. I'm assuming I end up with more Texas. Texas is 3rd in ownership. But the more interesting thing is Baltimore is 1st. I have the Orioles number 1 in top stack, number 1 in value. We have them 2nd in top stack, 1st in value. They are number 1 in ownership at 27%. I don't even think that's enough, as weird as that sounds. So I liked the Baltimore side, but I think I like the Texas side more because of Dean Kramer's ownership. We have Texas 1st in top stack. I have it 2nd, but we can call it 28-ish%. It's a value thing more than anything else, but they're 25% owned. I'm expecting to get to a lot more of Texas bats and Baltimore bats, but I don't think I'm going to get to as much Dean Kramer because I just don't see, if he's already 40% owned, I don't think that I'm unlocking anything. I think I'll have a much easier time. I don't like where this is about to go, but I'm going to have to say it anyway. Buckle up. Courtney Crump in here already sort of mentioning it too. I think, Bug Boy, be ready for it. I think I'm going to end up getting to a bunch of Evan Carter today. 4,700 is $600 cheaper than Adolis Garcia. Way more power for Garcia for sure, but less owned is Carter. I think he's going to end up looking kind of good against Dean Kramer. Is that crazy to think about? Dean Kramer, 226 X ISO against lefties, 154 to righties. Evan Carter hits lefty. I think he looks like a really interesting play. Maybe I'm just putting the bad juju On to Evan Carter. Reverse jinxing him, saying that I like him. Maybe he'll stink now. That's the play that I'm going with. I'm playing chess up here, guys. You guys are still playing checkers. But no, for real. The lefty bat for Evan Carter does look good. 4,700 is probably a tad overpriced, and I think he's relatively properly owned. I think the problem is Adolis Garcia is a bit over-owned at 5,300. Interesting game, though. I'm going to have more offense for sure in Texas and Baltimore than in comparison to Twins and Astros. I feel very safe in saying that. Let's see. What else can we touch on here? Guys that I think are underrepresented on Texas. Jonah Heim, because you're going to have to play this battle of Heim and Garver as your catching options from Texas, which really does open up catcher to be a little bit different. If we're being really honest here, if Adley Rutschman's 15% owned, I think that starts to look really good from an ownership perspective. I think Adley Rutschman is pretty sizably under-owned. Where on the opposite side, like Gunnar Henderson might be a little overrepresented. Ryan O'Hearn against Eovaldi, 32. Because, again, you've got two first base options on Baltimore. $3,800 Ryan Mountcastle, $3,200 Ryan O'Hearn. I think Ryan O'Hearn looks a little bit more interesting here at $3,200. Given the same ownership, I think that Mountcastle would be the guy that I would drop from this one if I were looking to get to a different Baltimore stack. Also, another lefty bat, Adam Frazier. Now, those guys could potentially not, like, they could get pinch hit for. Like that O'Hearn, if it is O'Hearn 5th, Mullins 6th, that's potentially back-to-back lefties. You might see a reliever come in there, which would probably cause a pinch hitter in that scenario. But as I look at it, I'm a little surprised that Texas bats, I guess nobody's really pulling away from each other. But there are pieces, like the Rutschman piece and the Adam Frazier piece, I think those guys are a little under-owned. Frazier, for sure, is a threat to be pinch hit for. He might only get 2 at-bats. It's going to be interesting if we don't get lineups at that point in time. I mean, it's going, like, there's not going to be a lot of stuff to flip-flop for, but I do hate that 4-hour gap. But as I look at this game, if I were ranking Texas and Baltimore, this game would be Eovaldi 1, Rangers 2, Orioles 3, Dean Kramer 4. Jake, I usually do 1. I think there are cases for 2. 2 for me, I would want to be very specific about the 2 that I get. But I usually just leave it at 1. That's the way that I operate, at least. All right. I don't have anything else for Rangers Orioles. I do, however, want to quickly mention for the people that would find this interesting, because we have, how many people are here? 152 people. 1, hit the like button. Has there ever been a no-hitter in the playoffs? Yeah. Unfortunately for me, it happened against my team. Well, not recently, but in the past 15 years. I think it was 15 years. Oh, I don't know. I've been down here a while. Yeah, Steven, that's a good point. Before I forget what I was doing, let me get this pulled up here. So I don't want to miss out on what I'm actually talking about. MLB Strategy Show 1010. Okay. Bet365. If you live, first of all, link is in the description of this one. If you live in Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, or Colorado, listen up. If you have not signed up at Bet365 yet, you should just stop what you're doing and do it right now. If you bet $5, they're going to give you $150 in bonus bets. These types of deals don't really exist all that frequently. Again, you're getting 30 times your money in bonus bets by just making a $5 bet. Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, Colorado. Those are the only states that this works for. If you live in those states and you haven't signed up, click the link. It's a free $150 in bonus bets as long as you put in $5. I don't think that's a stretch at all. 30x in bonus bets. Yeah, like, I don't think it's crazy to go to 2 Twins against Javier, but like, I wouldn't want it to be. I would probably I'd be certainly looking at guys that I expect to play the entire game. And then I'd be looking at specific situations where, like, I wouldn't want a guy that doesn't have a ton of power. Like, if you went to, you know, Kepler and Royce Lewis or something, I don't think that would be the craziest thing in the world. That's how I look at it. I don't have anything else to add here, though. We got through a half hour. Tomorrow we should have 4 games, right? That's what's on the docket for tomorrow. Am I right? Is there any way that can't happen tomorrow? 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Yeah, we are getting that no matter what. 4-game slate tomorrow, guys. Be here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. We're going to have an awesome slate to talk about. This is probably going to be the final 4-game slate that exists. I don't think it goes any further than that. It's not possible for Thursday or Friday or Saturday. So my guess is this is the final fun slate of the day or of the year. Oh, no. Okay. Never mind. That's not true. We need Baltimore to win. I forgot Baltimore was down 2-0 to Texas. We need Baltimore to win today. If Baltimore loses, we only get 3. Thank you, Steven. Go Orioles. We got to cheer for the Orioles for ship my money so we can get a 4-gamer. Let's be clear. We all know we want a 4-game slate tomorrow. If you want a 3-gamer, you are a psychopath. You probably put pineapple on your pizza. If we get 4 tomorrow, it's awesome. That's the perfect cherry on top of the sundae of this MLB season. I almost called it NFL season. You can tell I'm doing NFL content now. Guys, I don't have anything else at this point. So I think we're going to pack it in here. Thank you for joining me. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe to the channel, notification bell, all that good stuff will certainly help. Before I go, coming up next, 11 a.m. NFL Strategy Show. Laffy, Ben Raza, breaking down some NFL. And then, I don't want to bury the lead here. I should have said this at the beginning. The NHL is back. 2 p.m. NHL Strategy Show. You do not want to miss it. $50K up top in the NHL contest on DraftKings. If you're ever going to play any NHL contests, today is the day to do it. Use the Stochastic tools. If you want, head on over to stochastic.com for that. Where we're at, guys. Good luck to everybody. If you have any questions for me on this slate as we get closer to lock, hit me up on Twitter. And for everybody that is curious, we're going to drop this little nugget here for the 163 people that are still here. NBA salaries on DraftKings drop today, folks. Keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm going to have an article out, probably do a video as well, taking my first look. Thank you, guys. Have some fun. Win some money, but only finish second because I'm taking down the relay throw. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.